Right, welcome back everyone, welcome back to Castlevania Legacy of Darkness. I remain Evil Tim and this remains it, so let's go to Duel Tower as Cornell. Duel Tower has been completely changed from the original Duel Tower, which I will explain in more detail later. For example, if you look up here, some footholds would have appeared out there if we had been playing as Reinhardt. We'd have then climbed back on top of this thing and then we would have had to go over there. As I said before, the Werejäger remains dead because he was useless. Oh not, I'm still in here, come back, I want to fight you, sod off. Instead we'll jump onto this thing which is made of anti-gravity, and then we will jump onto that and we will encounter a military fondue set equipped with many spikes, which is terrible and bad, so we will avoid it. Then we will jump across these and we will use our guerrilla military tactical knowledge in order to defeat this werewolf, because we fought a werewolf before and he was shit the first time. We will jump onto this and then we'll jump back again, and he thought that he could land on all the water just because we were standing on something that looked like water, the dark bastard. I resent that. I had perfectly good reasons to jump in there, I'll have you know. Hey, that's my power-up. I wanted that, I'd need that to come back to life. Yes, you, oh no, I'm gonna have to stay down here. Right, so, as Reinhardt, we would have actually had to cross the entire lower part of the tower later on over these things. Yes, it would have been hilarious, I'm sure. But because we're not Reinhardt, we don't have to do any of that rubbish, so instead we will defeat that fellow there, and we will encounter another one of these rotating lawn-trimming whatsits. Gadzooks. It's the most terrible thing I've ever seen. There's a lot of things that have been changed about this tower. In the original, one of the bosses was actually optional, which we'll point out later. In the original, the final boss at this level was Tiger Man, which, well, we've seen Tiger Man, Mr. 3-second death, so I can see why they changed that. And also, we have a whole different route through it, including this corridor of rotating whatsits, which you will see in a moment. But firstly, I would demonstrate to you the locations of chicken and articles, in case you are playing through this game and need them for some reason. We have got chicken and articles. Here we go, more of these rotating lawn trimming things, and you'll notice that we have the usual Castlevania Legacy of Darkness lazy level design, because this here is the same vertical corridor that we saw in Art Tower. They just changed the colours of it a bit. But yeah, we've got that same diagonal slant to it, and instead we have these rotating things, which are a cross between a hedge trimmer and a windmill, and are silly, but they are effective. But we can easily circumvent them with our well, okay, not with our knowledge. How about with our force? No, not with our force. How about with our immense dick? Yes, that worked, as I'm sure you will all find. So, we were going to use ourselves a roast chicken, and then we are going to proceed onwards to the save gem. Now, up here is the boss that was optional previously in Castlevania 64, the Aqua Minotaur, but firstly we're going to have to fight these two armors. Yes, they have put armors on an incredibly narrow ledge. That was nice of them. Luckily, this guy seems to be more interested in spinning his axe around than he does with actually attacking with it, so that's going to be to our benefit. So he's out of it, and this guy's soon to be out of it as well. There he goes, off he goes, into the abyssal void, wherever these armors go after you defeat them. Maybe they go to some sort of convention. Some sort of strange assemblage of armors from all the Castlevania games, who compare the size of their axes and do other unsavory things. But that's enough of that. Here's the Aqua Minotaur, who runs in a circle of fire due to logic. Okay, so he has two attacks. He can do this thing, which is his dashing punch attack, which always results in him running straight into the circle of fire and damaging himself because he's an unbelievable twat. He also has a straight punch attack, which just uses the same animation as this thing. So it's not all that good. He also waves his hands about at us and does pelvic thrusts and other disturbing things, so we'll use a roast beef in order to ward him off because we are beefy, and he's just saying we're not beefy because he thinks we're all stringy and such. He thinks he can walk all over us just because we're small and he's gigantically, stupidly huge. He's right in some ways, but I don't see why we should confirm that for him. Right, so he's got two attacks and he really isn't much of a threat at all. You can see why he was the optional boss in this tower before, because he's dead. So we will pick that up, and then we will steal two things from him. We will steal his power-up, and we will steal his chicken, which he was located outside the circle. Now, you'll also notice that despite the fact that there is no way to get up here, this platform actually extended out from under the other one after we beat him, so I don't know, maybe that's just some sort of bizarre anti-tassing device. Maybe there is a way, a secret way, only known by a few monks who live on a mountain in Abyssinia. Who knows? Anyway, so more of this sort of bizarre stuff that makes you wonder if this is the Tower of Black and Decker rather than the Duel Tower, because there's all these rotating spikety watsits. And we will now walk into a cutscene, good lord. So we find ourselves in the last of these, and I don't think this one collapses actually. And Cornell will now be surprised that something jumps out of this one, despite the fact that something has jumped out of the other 3 ones of these he's walked past. Yes, it is the William Birkin werewolf. As you would expect it to be, I guess. What the devil? What are you trying to do, Ortega? This is just a warning from one friend to another, using run-on sentences. Look at him. Unlike you, this creature could not break the seal placed by the man-beasts. That seal was broken for him by Dracula, using yellow. After all, there is a limit to the benefits of ascetic training, yet Dracula has exceeded that limitation of sentence structure with the werewolf with ease. Perhaps if you could also find the power to exceed that limitation, then I could finish that sentence. I'll be waiting for you, Cornell. You're not the type that would lay down and die after coming this far. Wait, what about Ada? And what about this polar bear, what's it? Okay, this is the giant mutant werewolf, what's it? It's useless. As you can see, you can't hurt it very much unless it's doing an attack, in which case you can hurt it a lot. There you go, you see, he takes far more damage. Now, you're actually supposed to wolf out to fight this thing, I think, but he has this stupid belly flop move that takes him ages to recover from, and which he takes extra damage during because he's a huge twat. He also has a stomp attack, but it doesn't really matter because he's dead. Here we go, we just have to whack him a few more times and he'll be completely out of it. First an uppercut, and gone! That's it. That was the mutant werewolf. He was silly. And he's gone. Now this area is actually surrounded by grill things. Anyway, we have defeated Duel Tower. I've been Evil Tim, and this is Castlevania 64. We have won.
Thanks to the miracle of atomic mutation.